What's a really cool random record that you found in a really random spot? So I've been living over here in Southeast Asia for about 3 years, and we have these online shopping sites. One is called Lazada and one is called Shopee. Each of these sites are kind of like a combination of Amazon and eBay together in one. So you can order the latest camera, you can order grocery items, sheets for your bed, dog toys, everything. Any kind of item you can think of, you can order, and it comes from a factory, it's a brand new item. But also, there are used items on there, secondhand items. So you can find old books for sale, records, which is why I mention it to you now. So here's the site. So I'm just going to go ahead and type something in here like dog toy, just to give you an example of how this works. So you can see there's all these different dog toys, and the price is listed in Thai baht. So 180 baht, 220 baht, and like for example, 120 baht would be about roughly $4 Canadian, $3 American, roughly, not exactly. Now watch this. Let's type in Hank Williams, just for kicks, to see what happens. Here we go. So look at this. All about Hank Williams, for example. 2 vinyl records. This is Pan Siang. Pan Siang. Why knit? What? Pan Siang. Why knit? All about Hank Williams. This is this is a Japanese import. So it's a double disc from MGM Records. This is just an example. I'm going to show you something a couple of things I got here this week. The shipping, so altogether, this is going to be about $20 American for a Japanese 2-record, all about Hank Williams, like a greatest hits kind of album, and 45, it's like $1.50 shipping. So that, if I ordered this right now, it would be here at my apartment within like 3 or 4 days. So that's interesting. So there's a Hank Williams record. Check this out. Okay, this is a CD. But nevertheless, like I'm here in northern Thailand, and these items are here in Thailand or in China or sometimes Malaysia, and they're just so random. Like how do these, I don't even know how they got over here. I know how the Japanese imports got here, that I can explain. This is kind of cool. This is a cassette tape of Hank Williams' greatest hits, but it's, again, it's like $3, right? So it might be like a cool item to have. You see another Hank Williams Jr. record here. This is the one that's based on, I'm not going to go on and on with this, but anyway, you get the point. Hank Thompson. So come back. If you type in something really random, like, okay, Hank Williams, that's still a pretty big name all over the world. Let's think of something maybe a little bit, let's type in like Billie Joe Spears, see if anything comes up. I don't know that it will. Billie Eilish, Billie Holiday, but I don't see anything for Billie Joe Spears. So I'll just type in the most random names, and every name I can think of off the top of my head, and occasionally they'll show up. There'll be a record there for like $5 or $6. If I can locate one record, I can look through the shop of the seller, and sometimes I'll find another. So I got this week, a package of 2 records here. They came from Malaysia, and pretty inexpensive. I paid about $10 or $12 Canadian, so that's like $8-9 American. The first one I got here, let me take the vinyl off it so there's a little less glare. This is David Allan Coe. This is actually the very first David Allan Coe record I've ever owned in my life. Just so happens to be. And it's called Compass Point. There's an amazing song on here called Merle and Me. And this record is really interesting because what he's done on this record is he's seamlessly produced and recorded all the songs together. So like on each side of the record, side A and side B, the record actually runs as one complete song. So we got 1, 2, 3, so there's 5 songs on here, and there's no break in the middle. He chose the songs so that they would kind of fit with the right keys. They could all just blend together. And this is just kind of a cool experimental album. He's kind of fucking around with like the Gulf and Western sound, that Jimmy Buffett kind of vibe. And this record was actually recorded in Key West. And he's got this whole bit on the back here that he wrote up, which is kind of interesting, but I won't read it all to you. So that's one, right? Now this one is even more random than that. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was seeing this on the site. It was on Shopee. This is Don Helms, steel guitar, all-time favorites of the country stars. Now, if you don't know who Don Helms is, that was Hank Williams Sr.'s steel guitarist, non-pedal steel, straight steel. It's a very famous sound that Hank Williams had in his steel. It's very unique because after Hank died, a lot of the steel guitars, well, almost all of them, really switched over to the pedal steel guitar, which is quite a different sound. You can tell it's the same instrument, but it has much more of a crying sound to it. And aside from all that, Don's playing was just really, it was a very simple style, and a super cool record. I just listened to it, eh? I mean, this is about as random of a record as you're going to find in Southeast Asia. Don Helms, all-time favorites of the steel guitars, featuring the Stephen Scott singers. And he's got a bunch of Hank tunes on here. I Can't Help It If I'm Still in Love with You. Okay, he's got one Hank. He's just got one Hank song on here, but they're all classics. I'm Walking the Floor Over You, Bouquet of Roses, Fraulein, Four Walls, and there's a nice bit written on the back here about that. Okay, so those are 2 records from the same seller in Malaysia. And then just now, I haven't even opened this up, this box came in. This was, these came from Thailand locally. And this is very much in the same vein as Don Helms, possibly even more random. For all you steel guitar nerds out there, this is a pretty special find, which I couldn't imagine probably anybody else in this country ever looking for or finding. This is Pete Drake, Talking Steel and Singing Strings. I don't know how many of these records came out, these Pete Drake records. There was one that was just called Pete Drake and his talking steel guitar, or his singing steel guitar. I don't think this is the same record. The cover looks a little different, but totally random, totally cool. Yeah, talking steel guitar, Pete Drake. That actually has a picture of it right here on the back. And another one called Forever Pete Drake. So the songs on here are Dream, Only You, Let It Be, Roses Are Red, Lonely Street, Unchained Melody, Welcome to My World, Tammy. Actually, I don't know a lot of these tunes. Blue Velvet, that's cool. Near You, that's a great country song. George Jones, Tammy Wynette. Am I That Easy to Forget by Shelby Singleton. And a bunch to read on the back. And actually, the condition is just okay on this one. The other two, the condition is pretty nice. This is cool, if I can get it out. So this is like an original sleeve for, come on now, Dot Records. You see that right here? So that's a pretty old sleeve. That's a pretty old, wow. It's cool, eh? Dot Records presents the great, I'm reading this backwards, eh? The greatest sound on record. That's what it says. It's smells like a fucking used bookstore, I can tell you that. And then the last one I got is not a country record, but it is pretty cool. This is a Ray Parker Jr. Japanese import with the, this is called an obi, this little strip here, this promotional strip, and they put this on the record so that they wouldn't have to mess with the graphics or the pictures on the front. They wanted to keep them in their original state and all in English. And then when I say they, I'm talking about the Japanese, just generally speaking, when it came to the records and how they manufactured them. So they put these little sleeves that are called obis on them, and they give the records a super cool look and feel, right? Because as soon as it catches your eye, you're like, oh man, that looks cool. That would be cool to have it in my collection, etc. And this is, it's actually the first Ray Parker Jr. record I've ever owned too. And I have others as well. I'll show you another Japanese import. I got this one in Bangkok, but this one I actually bought at the mall. Yeah, at the mall, if you can believe that. There's an old mall. I have a video about that here. Fortune Town Mall in Bangkok. There's like 8, maybe 9 record shops in there. And I found this for like $6. Japanese import Ray price. And I got a whole crate of records like this here. Someday I'll show you some more, but I just thought that was pretty cool. If you're in North America, it's not like you're going to be able to use these sites really, but I thought it was just kind of totally random. Would you have ever thought that people would be selling used Pete Drake and Don Helms records in Thailand and Malaysia and China? Just kind of a cool present day moment for yours truly in classic country music. If you have anything to say about that, good or bad or indifferent, you can go ahead and type that in the comments. What's a really cool random record that you found in a really random spot? Interesting thought. Happy record shopping to all of you, and keep it country. Talk to you soon.